The more and more I watch I'm Quitting Heroing, I think it's going to go down as probably one of the best shows of the season, if not best shows of the year itself. I really am already kind of contemplating where I'm going to put it in that list, and it's easily in the second or third in that list. And I think if anybody has not been watching it by this point, if my last video has not stirred you to go watch this show yet, please go watch this show. It is doing so many cool things with its main character that I honestly wasn't even expecting. I was really expecting this, again, just to be a simple, overpowered main character, saves the world, gets disenchanted by the world, and goofy shenanigans happen. But instead, like I said before, they're defining the main character by exactly what the title is, and the story that it's playing out, for what I'm being told, is going to be a complete story that will have, hopefully, a really fantastic end to it, and it's already building up to that. So yes, by this point, full-on spoilers for up to episode 9. These are my thoughts on the recent episode that just pretty much caused a huge stir within our community. So many people going, have you watched the episode yet? Have you watched the episode yet? This changes everything. Have you watched it yet? I'm like, I'm getting to it. Hold on. And I finally have, and now I see what all the craze is about. So yeah, episode 8 was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a great way to kind of show, I guess, how Leo got to the point where he was starting to question what he was doing. And that was through the initial invasion by King Belial, which is a story that's being told in a book that apparently Echidna has read and that Leo read afterwards, and obviously points out this isn't a fairy tale. This is exactly what happened thousands of years ago. This Abrod that Leo had come across wanted peace. Well, it still had a hint of selfishness there. Like, Abrod was still trying to essentially keep from dying. Like, he wanted to talk Leo down just to kind of prolong his life because he knew Leo was going to kill him. So it had the sense of him trying to delay Leo as long as possible. But on the opposite end, he was a part of this faction that was trying to have peace. We want to trade with the humans. They have great lands. Let's work on peace. But instead, everybody's attacking everybody. It's kind of a little confusing to Leo because he's like, well, you guys just invaded and started attacking, so obviously we're going to kill you. And he's like, no, there's a group that wanted peace, and he was a part of that group. And this is something that was reflected upon Echidna. She read this, and she knew that there was a chance that we could bring peace about this world. So it's really cool. It kind of gives that, again, that sense of how we got to where we're at now. What was planted in Leo's mind that could eventually lead him to believing that there could be peace. He was programmed to protect humanity, and now he has this little sense in there that there could be something different. But again, that all really changes with episode 9. I think from beginning to end, episode 9 was fantastic. Now, the beginning, I was a little frustrated because it was one of those things where, okay, the portal's closing. We have two options. We can either just leave now, break up the army because some of them still live in these lands and some of them are from the demon world. We're going to have to split everybody else, disband the army, go back home, because we don't know when that portal can be opened again. We can't keep it open. And so this is obviously a struggle for everybody because we have friends here. We have friends there. We don't want to be stranded here. We don't want to leave the people behind. Our whole point here is to get this Philosopher's Stone, bring it back to our homeland. We haven't even finished our mission. Everything that Echidna has been building up to for this point was for this one mission. She's been studying her entire life for this opportunity, and yes, she still technically wants peace, but she does acknowledge taking the Philosopher's Stone is going to create war, but they still technically need it. And so yeah, as we're talking about this, and she's talking about how our greatest threat, though, still is Leo. It's like, tell her, that's not your greatest threat anymore. But no, it took it in an interesting, different direction. Again, I thought it was just going to be, drag this out as long as possible, have Leo stand up and say, you don't have to worry about Leo anymore, I am Leo. Let's go get the Philosopher's Stone. He's already talked about he wants to get her this. But they're technically acknowledging the idea that getting this Philosopher's Stone is going to continue the war, and that's technically not what they want. It was an interesting element here because even still, all the way to the end of this episode, episode 9, at his core still has a command of protecting humans. He can't just destroy humankind and get this Philosopher's Stone. He still has to worry about that. It's still at his core. Like, it almost feels as if it's like an instinct that he still has to deal with. But as he states at some point in this episode, it's all muddled up. Like, he's gotten to a point now where he's losing that focus, and that at some point he's going to break. This is, I think, the biggest nugget. Now, granted, the final part of this episode is obviously the huge question mark, but I think the thing that I gravitated so much in this episode was him acknowledging the fact of what his power is. Yes, he can live for a long time. He doesn't know exactly how long. He was built to live and last a long time. But additionally, he has the capability of mimicking abilities. And so he says, oh yeah, over thousands of years, I've gained all these abilities. And she acknowledges, well, I wish I kind of knew that. She's not even shocked. Not even shocked the fact that he's lived this long. She's like, well, I kind of wish that I had known that I would have planned things differently because, yeah, I was fighting somebody who's had thousands of years and thousands of armies worth of knowledge and ability put within him. But he notes, and again, I don't know if this could be a mistranslation. It could be just lost in translation. It could be something that I may be pulling more out of than possible. But he's noting the idea that his skill development functions and this core order within him to save mankind and his feelings are all out of whack. That because of the skill development function, which again, I kind of attribute to him talking about the skill developing, like he's able to gain abilities from people. He uses the same exact abilities against other people. Like we have the little snowball fight. She dumps snow on him. He immediately does the same thing on her. He gains these abilities. He's able to return them. He learns it, then he's able to use it. And he's noting the idea that he thinks that because of this skill development function, his feelings and that core order within him to protect mankind is all out of whack. And he's assuming that that's why he now has this thought process that he could become the villain of the world. And I like this because it's something that we really haven't dived into yet. We dove into the idea that this was his only function in life, and it was always him looking for the next fight. What can he save mankind next? What is his next mission? What is the next pertinent threat? I have to keep doing this. And he notes the idea that there could come a time where the humans can take down the queen themselves. Like, he's not always going to need to be around, even though she thinks that, well, you'll always be around because there's always going to be war. And wishing for war is kind of sad, but that's his whole function. But he takes it a step further in the idea that he knows that eventually, one day, there might not be war. Humans will take care of themselves. He will no longer be needed, and then that he, craving his own order, craving the function to live out what he was designed for, will drive him to drive mankind into ruin just to pull them back out. I will make my own thing to fix, essentially. I will cause ruin and then save mankind. I will make my own order, my own purpose with my own destruction. And I think that's insanely interesting to get into because it takes him from being a hero, obviously, to a villain, but additionally noting the idea that he feels like he is now broken. This is driving the story to the segment where we now question, can Leo continue to exist? It's obvious that he feels like his own existence is a threat to the very order that he was built for. And that's what it's leading it to, this whole thing about, I have a core inside me, I have a Philosopher's Stone inside me, take it. It's this unending power source. Take it from me. You won't have to take it from humans. You won't have to keep the war going. You can create peace, and then you can look for this manual to learn how to use it, and everybody be happy. Like, it all comes down to there's no other choice. And that's honestly what has me a little worried about how this story can end. We're only 9 episodes in. We still have 3 episodes left. And so I don't know if they're going to follow through with this. It feels as if the writer has built into the storyline, Leo has to die. And I almost hope they don't squash it. Like, I hope that they don't ruin it at this point, because they have this really cool concept, pretty much almost a definitive, this is what has to happen. It's tragic, but at the same time, this is the definitive answer to moving forward that they've kind of established. You have Leo, who's been around for thousands of years, and he himself has decided this is the only option. And so I'm not that I want Leo to die, but at the same time, it's one of those things where if they suddenly have, I don't know, where Echidna goes, no, we're going to do something else, and then it just goes happily into the sunset, it's going to feel like this buildup was ruined. Like, because they've been building this conclusion that Leo has come to has been building for thousands of years, and more so in the last 3 episodes, really driving that this is the option he has chosen because he himself feels like he's a threat. Now, granted, I what I'm assuming, because I don't think that I sadly do not think they're going to go through with this. I don't think the writer is going to follow through with this. And I think that's because of how early this happened. Again, we have 3 episodes worth of story to get through, and I feel like, now we could have, a battle for half an episode, Leo dies, and then we have 2.5 episodes of Echidna, the after story, basically, because like I said, this is supposed to be a full adaptation, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think what's going to happen is you're going to have Echidna essentially tell him, I don't want you to decide what I do. This is my choice. I will find a way. I will find my own path. I will gain peace with the humans and possibly share their power source or something like that. Or figure out a way to extract the core without killing Leo. Maybe demons have 2 hearts and she will give him one of her hearts, making him mortal, but still having the power source. I just think they're going to do something, and I'm fine with that. If in whatever those directions it takes, I'm fine with it as long as the writer delivers. And the writer has, like I said before, thoroughly shocked me with this story because I'm insanely invested in it, and I just cannot wait. I need to start keeping track of when the episodes come out so I can watch these and do impression videos, because it seems like every episode I'm blown away, and I should be covering this episode by episode. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes and if this writer can really nail this ending. Because like I said before, I'm absolutely blown away with what this writer has essentially taken your typical overpowered main character and took it in a really, again, there's a human element in there, and there's a struggle from the predetermined motions to what you desire to do. The idea that even though he is ordered, his whole core, his own existence is to save mankind, but he has chosen at this point, in order to help mankind, to keep war away, satisfy the Demon Lord army, so that both sides can live by themselves and no more wars happening, essentially to help mankind in the end, because it still seems to be his driving force, even though he basically left them. He is going to push the Demon Lord and her generals to kill him, and he even threatens the idea, if you run, I will kill the humans. Like, he's trying to push them to have no other option, and I hope that they deliver on that. I will say, though, I despite the fact that I was frustrated with the whole reveal of him being Leo, it was still cute. I love the whole idea of he literally walks up right in her face and says, "Can you please just look at me for a second so we can get over this?" Like, it's almost like the writer themselves acknowledging, Ekidona, here's the reveal. Like, Ekidona, I've set the character up here, and you're doing your own thing. It's funny. It's one of those kind of, you can almost see the writer themselves writing how the character is doing not what they want to do. Like, I've set up these 2 characters here, but I almost forgot that this character would literally do this. Like, she would look away and she would not acknowledge. And even when she sees it, where's Onyx? Like, where is my general? She doesn't even see it. Like, I almost thought that she was going to say that, Onyx, you're so good at, transforming into Leo. That's crazy. There was also a side of me that was kind of wondering, besides the whole I have a core within myself, which I kind of came to conclusion with the second time he mentioned the idea that I'm long lasting, and and then it connected to me the fact that he was saying there's this powerful guardian there. I was like, yeah, he's taking them out so he can have them kill him. But I did think that when it had that whole moment where you're going, please just tell her that you're Leo, I almost, in the back of my head, I was thinking, no, what's going to happen is he's going to tell Ekidona, I will go kill Leo, and then fake his own death. Boost her morale to go invade the humans. Good stuff, though. Really fantastic episode. Like I said, this is, I think it's going to depend on how they land these last 3 episodes. If it's going to bump, it's not going to beat Summertime Rendering, don't get me wrong. Probably not going to, it might beat Kaguya-sama. I don't know, that's a tough one. They're 2 different things, but it's up there for me this season, and I cannot wait for the last 3 episodes of the show. It's so fantastic. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to share it to your friends. If you have anybody that you know that's watching the show and want to hear somebody discuss it, definitely love the support from you guys. Additionally, if you are new here and you have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want to support us, we definitely greatly appreciate it. We have a Patreon link, tips link, and there's also a super thanks that goes through YouTube. I hope you all enjoyed, and y'all take care.